Not to steal your glorious day in the sun, but I must say, now all my notes on you are suddenly worth 10 times their weight in iron. My journals will melt the linens off the ladies, I tell you. What's that you say? Buxom, nubile lasses with an interest in old men who know history. You need a definitive tractatus on the trials and tribulations of the Archon of the Tears? Ah, well, you're in luck. I think one can safely conclude that you have the Overlord's attention, and that of the Tears. Soon, all of Taratus. You realize, I trust, I hope, that nobody other than Kairos has ever cast an edict until you. Good question. In parts north, it's commonly held that Kairos' Edict of Dust was the first, but it was cast in the year 11. It was just the first edict to ripple across the whole of Taratus. If you lived somewhere that used to have antelope, you probably think that's the first edict of the Overlord. But here, the answer is given to us by the Overlord's own sense of posterity. Year 0 of Kairos' calendar is said to correspond to the day Kairos went from warlord to wearer of many crowns, a victory won when the first Edict of Storms shocked both the Cloud Barons and the realm of Medrev to capitulate. Yes, or it was, at least, until they were all wiped out by the Edict of Dust. Or that's as best we've pieced it together from the records. From what we've gathered from their skeletons, they were some sort of mute beast man that ran on 4 legs.
Antelope are not like beast women. Antelope have hooves for fleeing. Beast women have claws for killing. Antelope don't eat meat, are spooked easily, are large but helpless, lumber but lack reason. Are prey. Silverback tribe hunted antelope extinct. Old ink mystic tells many strange, stupid tales. Thinks to know everything.
I suppose I'm more of an expert in living things, like birds, and can't quite confirm or deny what you're saying, but just forget I said anything. At the same time, if you really were a meaningful threat, you'd have already been the victim of an edict, or bled in Mark's daggers. So this has me rather curious. Just what does the Overlord wish to do with you? Well, I have a hard time believing that someone would cast an edict and not have it noticed. Well, as of now, I've seen with my own eyes that the Overlord is not unique in this regard. And I suppose you're all the evidence I need to throw suspicion on the record. Now, if you are right, that implies the Overlord has no qualms silencing and murdering those who pose a threat. In your case, at least my written record of you might survive. See? I'm being optimistic.
Alpha. Kills in shadow must speak with Alpha. Now. and clever hunter, can reason why Pack would need to kill one tribe of beast women, weakest but largest tribe to best human prima called Kairos. But Shadowhunter wants to know, needs to know now, that Pack's slaughtering of beast women will not continue. Have hunted many, if not all, stone stalkers. Had reason, yep. But what of other tribes? What of Mantaborn of Stalwart Sea? What of Cat Vanis or West Reavers in northmost of Tyr's land? Kills in shadow, fights for Fatebinder, so that Kith will not die like shadow hunters. So that all beast women can thrive.
Hail, mighty Archon. Your newfound power runs in the face of what I thought I knew. All my life, I've been told Kairos alone can issue an edict. And yet, here you are, proclaiming mastery of the lands just like the Overlord. I should certainly hope not. Taratus isn't large enough for Kairos, and it's certainly going to get very interesting if the two of you start waving your edicts to and fro.
I would have felt if someone else were proclaiming edicts. I knew when this one activated the Spire. From what I know of Kairos, the Fatebinder is definitely a wrinkle in some carefully laid plans.
Your newfound power runs in the face of what I thought I knew. All my life, I've been told Kairos alone can issue an edict. And yet, here you are, proclaiming mastery of the lands just like the Overlord.
You mean her powers?
You say that now. Let's see if you still feel this way when the reality sinks in, and your mastery of this newfound power solidifies. The world now bows to your mere utterance. Each day you will grow stronger, while the world becomes weaker in comparison. Put another way, if I could do what you do, the world would be at the mercy of my depravity. Cursing the name of Ebb, Archon of Fecund Fluids. Let's hope your moral sextant isn't as crooked as my own.
I have come to regard knowledge as a kind of curse, and I better understand the Overlord's injunctions against too much of it. In knowing why my armor clings to me, I think I began feeling it grow into me. Has it buried itself deeper within me? Or do I imagine this? Kairos has ordered that the Archons determine a ruler of the tiers from among themselves. This is the time to go to Archon Ash, submit to him, and beg clemency. You make a well-reasoned argument. If the General is willing to release me to you, then perhaps I could be free of this armor, and serve both of you better for it. I shall follow your lead, Archon. For now.
Kairos be praised! We found it! I don't recall specifying as such, but I see why you may have thought that. Only need a moment. This won't be like last time, where a moment means half a day. If my understanding is correct, these berries only need a little alcohol to make them absorb into the skin and cause you to bleed. Oh, this takes me back.
Then we have a deal? You'll receive further instructions by way of missive. We will use a plethora of names when writing to you, but you will know us by our seal.
Five parts water, 2 parts red grape juice, 1 part ash. I'm still not convinced I can play the part. Considering how insular the school is, I don't see how any will trust me. I'm seeing my first apprentice. What are you seeing? Oh, wait. Now he's gone. Don't distract me like that. Wait, you already have someone there. How do I meet up with this person?
What did we tell you? Your first objective is to blend into the school. Besides, if our other sage is discovered and you're close, we lose you both. You have so much to learn about this craft. We could tell you that, but wouldn't it just be us telling you what you think we think the answer is? Lantry is one of many agents we seeded throughout the tiers years before this war. One can never plan too far in advance. And to answer your question, yes, all will be forgiven.
Yes, my answer is yes.
We're going to have a beautiful future. Serve well, and you just might be a part of it.
After all that, I think I need a stiff drink to calm the noises. How are you feeling? Well, I don't know what I was expecting, honestly. I think I just wanted to talk to the Lexeme I remembered. And I figured that sublime intoxication might help me come to terms with her scheme to corrupt the truth for the greater good, or some such idealism. But I don't need to understand it fully. I just need to accept it. Oh, it's still there, but with the school broken, the Chronicle's reputation for truth is lost. If none will view it with reverence, does the record need to be accurate? Every historian grapples with that question. I might pass along bad information without knowing it, but I never intend to immortalize anything but the truth. Or at least, I could say that of myself until recently. Now, I'm guilty of turning a blind eye to Lexeme's deceit. I'm disgusted by my actions, and yet, I'd do them all over again. I love Lexeme more than I love the Chronicle. That's all there is to it. Perhaps, but I'd rather she not know. I don't want to encourage and foster this notion, and if I'm being honest, I can't bear to see her so hapless and feeble. Not again. I want to remember her as I just saw her, before the lies. I'm disgusted by my actions, and yet I'd do them all over again. I love Lexeme more than I love the Chronicle. That's all there is to it. Yes, a bit too soon for that. Well then, enough chatter for now. Let's be on our way.
We've got a burned farmstead and multiple fire wards set around it. That reeks of our missing fire mage Catorius. There's chorus and disfavored shit all over the place. Given how shoddily maintained the iron is, I'm guessing it's all chorus shit. We can always ask him when we find him, assuming I let him live long enough to form an answer. The nearest stronghold is a sad little pile of palisades on the edge of the contested lands called Fort Squander. The disfavored used to hold those walls, so that could go a ways towards explaining their arms being scattered around here. Come on, we've got a sage to track. Yeah, I'm... the fire. It reminds me of Red Geyser. She loved fire. Loved it more than any other fury. Loved it more than the blood chanters, maybe. They twist and pull it, summon it. She made a partner of it. Let it lead her dance. Once she lured these Azure scouts into a clearing. They're tracking this lone woman, then all around them torches blaze. Geyser sets these pitch-headed arrows to the flames before putting them into one of the scouts' eyes. An arrow per eye, hissing and popping. Then she charges into the scouts with this burning crescent, this axe, the head as long as your arm and pitched. They swing at her, but it's all fire and blood to her. She shoulders them aside and we take them apart. That's where she got her name. The spray from an opened neck. To look at her back, at her chest, no one would fault you for mistaking her for a man of labor. 8 more than the rest of us combined. All she took to with everything in her. She was obsessed with proving herself to the voices. He'd given her this second life in the Howling Choir, and she was gonna make good and fucking sure that she earned it every day. She was one of the good ones, Binder. As good as anyone on this filthy peninsula. I'm glad I got to tell you about her. She lives on a bit in that. Now, let's be off.